Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 262. And I am on my way to my first casino of the day, early in the morning. I have a couple of meetings this morning. I have one meeting this afternoon, and I'm supposed to meet someone near my second destination today. So I have a lot of stuff going on today. Our goal today is going to be to get some blackjack sessions in, at least 2, and hopefully we can get 3 sessions in. We'll see about that. Things are still going well, still on target for our goal for the year. Yesterday was not the greatest, but you have to have a downturn sometimes, right? You can't be on the upswing 100% of the time. It's just not possible. I do feel like I was somewhat responsible for the downturn yesterday because I was looking for points and I was a little bit more willing to play something that was borderline. So a lot of that was on me. Really, that's what's going on right now, getting everything ready for our trip. Also, today I'm going to be calling Norwegian Cruise Line to see if I can get a trip set up for next year. I'm looking at a target date of like early June, so we'll see. I'm thinking something like Dominican Republic, Tortola, St. Thomas, Bahamas, and what am I missing right there by the Bahamas? Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about doing, leaving and coming back to Miami. So Bermuda. So I want to hopefully have time to call today and see if we can get the framework set up for it, and then I'll finalize everything with my wife. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. That was a ride, to say the least, and a long ride too. So right now I should be in the next city getting ready for my meeting. Instead, I'm still here, and the meeting starts in 15 minutes. I'm going to get on the road, get as much time in as I can, squeeze every last drop of roadway, and then we're going to hop on that meeting. It's an hour long, unfortunately, and there was a guy at the city that I'm going to that we're supposed to meet. He's going to tell me this great new game and all this information, and I talked to him on the phone, and I already knew about it. It's not an advantage play. It's an idea, but I think he had good variance on it, and I don't think it's something that I want to do. So until I get more information from other people. So anyway, right now we're moving on to the next casino. When I walked into this casino, right away I see a play, but it's at almost $15 a spin, and it's borderline. Okay, so just keep that in mind for a second. So I move on, and actually right next to that one there's a lady playing a machine, and there's 2 plays on that machine. I can see 2 different plays on there, and they're worth about $500 or $600 in EV. So I said, okay, I'm gonna just stay in this area, keep an eye on her, and when she gets up I'm sitting down. So I go on, I look a little bit, and I come back around. I see a machine. It's a $10 a spin. It's like this stuff runs in like groups, like a bunch of big plays and a bunch of little plays. But it was a $10 a spin play. I put $200 in there initially. Poof, it's gone. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900. I was in at 900, and I was down to my last like $16 when it hit. And by the time I got up from that machine, I was down $516. So bad start. And then I see a guy who's going to ask me for money, but I don't give him an opportunity. But because I show him, hey, look, I'm down. I can't really afford to be down. I got to find a way to get it back. I have him monitor that lady while I go on to some other stuff. I look around, come back, she's still on it. Then he and I talk for 20 minutes, and she's still on it. And then I said, okay, just sit here and watch, and I'm going to go look over there, and I'll be right back. There was another play that was right on the edge of hitting, and there was a guy playing it, older black man who was playing it, and I said, just watch this, I'll be right back. I leave for a minute, I come back, there's an older white lady sitting there all of a sudden, and I'm like, what happened? This is ready to hit. She sits down, clueless, hits it, keeps on playing, because she has no idea. That's frustrating. So it was free money. I take a minute to walk away just to look around, and he's supposed to be watching, and anyway, the lady's still on that machine right now. I ended up leaving, but I was down about 580, and then I went to another machine and took a risk on that one that was actually not a terrible risk, maybe slightly negative, but not a terrible risk, and it paid off, and I ended up leaving the session ahead $44. So plus $44, probably could have done a lot more if I just stayed and waited for her to get up, but I got to move on. I got other stuff to do. I got other places to go, and we'll see. I know he thinks I'm still in there, so we'll see how long it is before he calls me and says that she's off that machine. For all I know, she's going to play all the different denominations. I see so many people doing that. They have no clue how these machines work, and they put a bunch of money in one denomination, and it's about to hit, and then they switch to another denomination, and they're just emptying their pockets into these machines. It's a shame, because it's the way that people are taking advantage of by these casinos, and especially by these slot makers. It's just terrible. Anyway, plus $44 there. We're on the road, and I got 9 minutes. I'm going to stop in about 7 minutes, maybe. I don't know. And we'll start that meeting, and then I'll be back to update you after that. All right, guys, I am back. So just finished up that meeting. That was a big mess. I take the exit, I stop, they're talking, I get back on the highway, they ask me a question. Of course, this stupid wheel back here is so loud, so I gotta pull over, and then I gotta unmute, and they're like, hey, we're talking to you. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I was muted, I was talking while I was muted. Oh, sorry, this, and I started and stopped about 5 times, but I did get some miles under my belt here, so I did get a little bit closer to the next casino. I believe I got about 20 miles while I was driving, so yeah, hopefully we get a couple good sessions in here, and tomorrow's going to be another big day. We'll see what happens, but I can't wait to get in this casino. I got another meeting in about 3 hours, so I gotta hop in here, hopefully get 2 sessions of good blackjack in, and then get back to the car for the next meeting. I'll be back. All right, guys, I will talk and walk as I am heading back to the car. I've got that afternoon meeting. I'm still in my first session of blackjack over here. Sit down at a table, buy in for 500, blackjack on the first hand, win the second hand. Next hand, I get 2 9s against the 3. I split to 4, and I double 3 of them, lose them all, and then the downward slide began. Rebuy for second 500. Well, actually, I had to rebuy for the double, I believe. So now I was in 1,000, and then 1,500 and 2, and it was just horrendous. It's just going downhill and downhill and downhill, and over the next hour and 45 minutes I bought in for a total of 8,000 and was just getting crushed the whole way through. All the high counts were not panning out, and every shoe had a high count, every shoe, and it was just, I was getting crushed. Very few doubles were working. Just had to keep on going though. What can you do? So I continued on, and eventually I got to the point where I was up to like 4,500 or so, and I banked 2,000, just colored up and put them in my pocket, and then I had like $2,500 on the table. I just had to get that to $6,000 to get even. I get it up to 45 and give it all back except for like 300, and then ran that 300 over the next 45 minutes or so into 1,600. So right now at this point I've been playing for almost an hour and 40 minutes total and I'm down 4,400. So right now I'm running to my car to take care of this meeting. Then I'll probably come back in. I just kept the chips, so I'll probably come back in and figure things out from there. But definitely the opposite of what we wanted. I was more than once, well, no, just once. I was one hand away from taking off, and that didn't work out. So anyway, I'll be back. All right, guys, as it turns out, my meeting got moved a half hour, so I got a half hour. I'm going to go back in, maybe play a low limit table temporarily and see what happens. Maybe we can get a little bit back and then head back to the car. So like I said, I only have half an hour. So actually, you know what I may do is order some food, take that back to the car and eat. And I've got a voucher here. I actually did okay on the slots. So maybe take my voucher to the car or cash my voucher out. So anyway, I'll be back. All right, guys, let me go over this here. Sorry about all the choppiness here back and forth. Let me just kind of explain the situation. It was a lot of stuff happening here. So for one thing, when I get to this place, I check out slots first, and I find one play. I play it through. I win whatever I told you earlier, which I can look it up while I'm talking here. I win $141 on that play. That's the only slot play that I found. So from there I go play blackjack, and it's like the most miserable experience you could imagine. Everything's going wrong. There's no one else playing in the pit but me. There's like 3 pit bosses, and then I'm in for $8,000, so that's always good to be the only one there. And they had the amount wrong by 800 because they think that they're sneaky when they're talking to each other, but when I was at 65, he said 57, so whatever. So they call upstairs, they do whatever they do, but my spread was low. It was like a 1-5 spread. The game was playing so badly, I never even had a chance to have like a super count, a big count, anything like that. And I played for an hour and 40 minutes. I go to the car, I'm down 4,400. I come back, now I've got this news that, okay, let me just explain before that. So while I'm back there, to the table to my left, there's 2, I would say 28 to 35-year-old black guys, and kind of overweight, real dark-skinned guys, and you could tell that they were agitated. And they bought in basically for everything they had. It was like maybe $5,000 or $6,000, and they got all $100 chips, and they were playing like towers of $100 chips, and it only took them like 3 hands to lose all their money, and they were like distraught when they left. And so now we fast forward, I'm down $4,400. I win $141 on the slots. I go to my car, I notice that my meeting was moved a half hour, and my friend texts me that a guy who actually fit that description, he thinks, jumped off the roof and killed himself. And with these casinos, I can say it because no one's going to know where I am, because they hide all this stuff. And there were other casinos in this area, including this one, that had other people do this, and people I knew were there when it happened, and they don't put it in the news, they don't put it anywhere, because they don't want to have a bad name for their casino, because they make their money by destroying people's lives. And they can call it whatever they want, gaming or whatever they want to call it, but the truth is they're basically stealing your money and calling it entertainment, and then they're getting it passed by the legislatures or whatever, because they say it's tax money coming in and stuff, and it destroys lives. And this guy, I believe he killed himself, That's a terrible story. So I go back in for that half hour. I order some food. I place one slot machine. I made like $7. And then I go back to the car and ate the food and finished my meeting. I go back in and I start playing in the same pit that I was in before. I start playing and the count just goes, it tanks immediately. And I'm not really winning anything anyway. It's just like not very good. We play about a deck and a half or so, and I have a running minus 17. So, how long are you going to stay with a running minus 17? That's like 3.75 minus 3.75 true count from the beginning of the shoe. It's going to be hard to overcome. So I said, you know what, I'm just not feeling it. I'm going to leave. So I left that table ahead 200. I went to another table with a lower limit and played there for a little while. Couldn't get anything going there. And I ended up, I think I ended up even on that table. So yeah, that's all I could do there. Then on my way out, I see a friend of mine and I talk to him and he tells me all kinds of stories about stuff he's done in the past and, different moves and, opportunities that he's had in the past and what happened with all that kind of stuff. And he's kind of burned out, honestly, and he was telling me that. And honestly, I get burned out lots of times too. It's like, how long can you do this for? Traveling. There has to be a better way, and I'm hoping to get into something different. I don't know if it's going to be crypto. I don't know if it's going to be sports betting. I don't know if it's going to be buying and selling stuff. I don't know if it's going to be stock market. But eventually, you're going to get too tired of doing this. You can't last forever everywhere. And I've been very fortunate that the casinos that I've played at have been ones that have been super tolerant with me. They played right into my game. I never had any issues. And I've lasted for such a long time. And honestly, I'll be updating you on some numbers here soon. If I hadn't lost this today, I would have made it today to the next milestone that I was going for. But I've been very lucky, but who knows how long that's going to last. So that's what's going on right now. You're all caught up. I am going to another casino right now, and then I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. And that was another miserable time, and we are getting further away from our goal at every stop. Where do I start? Walked in, looking at slots, nothing. Go to the blackjack area. There's 3 tables open. All of them are empty. I pick a table, sit down, first hand, get a blackjack. And that was the highlight of my day. That was the highlight of that session. From there on, it was horrible. Splitting 6s 4 to 4 hands, splitting 9s to 4 hands, splitting 9s to 3 hands, splitting 7s, and losing almost every one of them. I'm sure I won some of them somewhere, but mainly pushed or lost. So bought in for 500, then 1,000, and then it just kept on getting worse and worse. I ended up switching tables and then switching back again because of the counts, and I was involved as much as 5,000 and just couldn't get anything going. The worst thing is the guy that I know who's the pit boss who would normally help me protect me as far as buy-ins and things like that, he left. He was there and he ended up going to another pit. So some guy I had never seen before was the guy watching the tables, and he was kind of odd. Like, he wasn't talking to me at all. He wasn't putting in the purchases, the buy-ins into the computer. The dealer wasn't calling the buy-ins out. I don't know what was going on, but I got in over 5,000 and just couldn't get anything going. And then I've got a couple chips in front of me, and this guy comes over that I know. He wants to borrow money. I'm like, not now, I'm busy. He's like, he said something to the effect of, how are you going to spread with that much? Or something like that. Well, I've got money in my pocket, I just didn't have it out right now. And so I had him leave, and then later on he caught up with me, and I knew he wanted money. I actually pretended to go to the ATM, and I'm like, no, I can't get any money out, man, I'm sorry. And I ended up leaving with chips, but I ended up down 2,400 on that session. And I talked to him afterward, and he actually told me that he heard about the other guy that jumped, and he actually did not die. He actually missed his target and ended up hitting part of the building, and he fell about 4 floors, and he was taken to the hospital, but I don't know what the condition is like. And then he had the guts on my way out. When I told him I lost all my money, I had no money, he asked me for $3 for gas. Crazy. So anyway, I got chips with me, and I got some cash left here, and we're moving on to another casino. I just couldn't cash out in front of him, so we're moving on to another casino. Hopefully things turn around here, because that's a $6,000 loss, plus the 4 that I was short for my goal. So now I'm about 10,000 away from my goal, and I'm starting to get a sinking feeling here. So hopefully things turn around. Hopefully this next stop we get some good variance, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. So walking back to the car right now. And what did we learn today? We learned that today was not our day. Walked around, looked at everything, couldn't find anything good to play. I finally found one machine. I played that, and I was ahead $14 on that one, and continued on. And I found a place where I could stand, and I could see 2 machines that were both ready to hit. So I stood there, and I stood there, and I stood there, and both of them just took forever, agony, and one of them was about to finish. The guy's finishing it off, but the other one did finish while I was there, and it paid around, I think it was $1,030. I think the guy only ended up ahead about 200 on it, but it would have been nice to spin that and get the points and stuff for it. But what am I gonna do? So I talked to a friend also while I was here, and he's like, are you gonna be here for a while? I'm like, well, I'm watching both of these, so probably. And he's like, all right, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom and I'll be right back. I said, okay. He was gone for like 20 minutes. I was like, I can't wait around for you forever. So after everything was done and all that wasted time, I ended that session ahead $14. So after everything, all the ups and downs and trouble of the day, that's how it ends, plus $14. So exhausting. The worst thing is, by the time I get home, it's going to be like 6 hours before I have to leave again. And last night I only got about 2 hours sleep. I don't think that had anything to do with what happened today, because what happened today was just incredibly bad variance. Dealers getting 2 or 3 aces in a row, 2-2-5-2, crazy, 1-2-3-5. It's like, come on, this is just bad variance today. So a little exhausted. I got to stop and get gas again. So I'll do that, and then continue my trip. And right now I just need to kind of, I don't know, this is where like having somebody riding with you would help. Have someone say, oh, it's not a big deal, don't worry about it, blah, 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 all that stuff that you already know, but you kind of need someone to just like push you a little bit, kind of like shove your shoulder a little bit and say, come on, you know better, don't worry about it, snap out of it. And I do know better, and I'm not worried about it, but it's just emotionally draining. I was at those tables for almost 3 hours between the 2 tables, and it was terrible the whole way through. So anyway, all right, right now I am moving on, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right, guys, as I am continuing my drive, it's been dark for about 3 or 4 hours, and I'm about an hour away from home right now. Looking forward to getting home, getting some rest, and putting this day behind me. let's talk about what did you eat today, MW. Today I had a chicken breast, and that was it. So I'll have some dinner when I get home. I had a Snickers bar. That's about it. So, and what did you tip today, MW? Obviously, today was a terrible day. I was down in every session today, slots and blackjack at one point, and I was able to recover the slot sessions to a tiny gain, but the blackjack sessions were awful, and I tipped $0. So that's about it. I'm a little unsure about tomorrow. I may change my plans for tomorrow. I will figure it out here in the next couple hours and get all that set up. But I am glad this day is ending. I am almost home, 36 degrees outside, and going to get some rest, and I'll be back with you tomorrow, hopefully with a lot of good news. Hopefully tomorrow we can win at least half this money back and start digging back to where we need to be. So it's going to be it for now. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.